Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of my podcast. Today's podcast is entitled Regardless. And as usual, I'm going to start this podcast off with a quote. Start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. And that's a quote by Francis of Assisi. The reason I wrote this podcast, or my motivation behind this podcast, is because I've been going through some things recently. I've been experiencing some highs and some lows, learning a lot about myself, as I'm sure everybody else has in 2020. 2020 has just been a year of growth, and a year of really finding out a lot about yourself, the people around you, the world, the government. It's just been a year of discovery. That's at least my perspective on it. And especially right now, to what I've been going through and what pertains to me. um I've kind of had feelings like, we've all experienced feelings where I just don't feel like sticking to the routine, trusting the process, being patient. I just don't feel like being true to the process and developing it fully through. But regardless, how we feel, we have to just push through, and we have to work towards our goals, because it's going to take hard work regardless if we feel like doing it or don't. The hard work, the work that we need to be doing to accomplish our goals is still going to stay there. It's still going to remain the same. And the longer we put things off, or the more we fight and resist the urge or the necessity to do hard work, the harder that work becomes. If you just go to school, go to college, and do what you need to do, it's going to be much easier the first time around for some of us. This isn't for all of us, for some of us, but it's going to be much easier the first time around than to try to come back around, 20, 30 years from now, or 10 years from now, and try to do the same thing, re-enter the educational system and stuff like that. Because I don't know about y'all, but there's some things that I know I've forgotten from high school that translated over to college, that might have made things a little bit difficult had I had waited. That's just my journey. That doesn't have to be yours, or it's not necessarily your experience. I'm just talking about mine. How we feel doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the mission. This is something that I picked up and developed heavily from the military. Even if you don't feel like walking a certain distance, even if you don't feel like carrying a certain amount of gear, even if you don't feel like being there, you're hungry, you're tired, you're uncomfortable, or whatever, that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you have a mission that you need to accomplish. And the only thing that matters is that mission. You can worry about everything back at home. You can worry about being comfortable and all the other comforts of life later. You signed up, and you're in this place in this moment of time right now because of your choices. And because of your choices, your life is now governed or dictated to drive a certain path. And in the military, your life is largely dictated by your mission. So, and that carries over to life. It doesn't matter how you feel. If today you don't feel like waking up early, or you don't feel like sticking to the morning routine, the only thing that matters is the mission. And if you haven't accomplished your mission, or if you're not doing completing an objective that gets you closer to your mission, then what are you doing? Why are you just sitting here wasting time? The only thing that matters is the mission. And if you're not moving towards the mission, then you're failing. Um, your goals, your dreams, your desires are not situational. They're waiting for you, and you are the only denominator. Like I've said in other podcasts before, like in every situation that you face, you're going to be the common denominator. And this is no different. So if you're not getting closer to your goals, if you're not accomplishing things, if you just feel like you're in a rut and you're moving around in circles and you're not really getting anywhere, evaluate what you're doing with your time. When you feel sad, or when you feel mad, when you feel angry, when you feel less motivated than other times, when you've forgotten what your why is, what do you do in those moments? Because those are the moments that are going to define you. Everybody can be the hero, everybody can be powerful, everybody can be optimistic, motivated, on top of the mountain. But those times when we're in the valleys, when we're in the mud, and things aren't as clear, we're in the fog, and we can't really see our dreams, and it feels like we're just in one place, not making any movement, not getting any traction. Those are the moments that build our character. Those are the moments that define us, and those are the moments that are going to help move us closer to our goals. Those we need to look at those times of development. We need to just be so in love with the process that no matter if we're on the mountaintops or if we're in the valleys, it doesn't matter, because that every day that you wake up, every step that you take, every struggle that you experience, every difficulty that you go through, it's developing your character, it's developing you, and it's pushing you closer to your goals, your dreams, and your accomplishments. So instead of getting down on yourself about your situation or not seeing any progress or what you want to call progress, try to look outside of yourself, take a big satellite view over your life, see what you've gone through already, what you survived, what you've already made it through, and the type of person you are compared to the type of person you were. And if you look at the bigger picture instead of just focusing on what you're going through now or experiencing now, you'll see that you've probably made a lot of development from the person you were to the person you are now, if you've been dedicated to developing yourself and the mission that you have, of your life. But then conversely, or on the flip side of the coin, if you look at yourself 10 years ago and you look at yourself now and you compare yourself and you look largely the same, well, now it's time to take a deeper evaluation of your situation and yourself and make changes. Don't start off making large sweeping changes, because whenever you make large sweeping changes, and again, this is speaking in reference to most people, not all people, but when you make large sweeping changes, the margin for failure is usually greater. You start off by making small changes, taking small steps towards your goals, your dreams and desires, taking small steps towards changing yourself and building yourself into the person that you need to be. And then soon those small steps will become larger steps. We need to look at our goals as like the goals of the roof of the house, and we're standing in the grass or on the ground. And the way to get up to our goals is on a ladder. So when you're climbing the ladder, you don't take large steps, to get to the top or to get to where you're trying to go. You take small steps. You place your foot on each rung and you place your hands accordingly, and you climb up the ladder. Sometimes you might climb faster, sometimes you might climb slower. It depends on a lot of different factors, but everybody who climbs the ladder, for the most part, again, I'm sure there's people out there that can just hop up ladders, but for the most part, everybody that's listening to this climbs the ladder one rung at a time. So life is no different. If you're making progress towards a goal, if you're in a situation to where you can't see the good side or the beneficial opportunity or perspective of what you're going through, just take it one step at a time. Take it one day at a time. Take it 1 hour at a time. Take it one meal at a time. Don't look at the grand picture. Break it down into smaller bite-sized pieces that you can then evaluate and change your perspective and turn it from something negative to positive. Because again, like I said in the beginning, regardless how you feel, it's your job, it's your mission to get through whatever you're going through in order to get to the other side. Well, we need to be driven towards our goals, not motivated. Motivation is fleeting. I know I've talked about this in other podcasts as well. The difference between drive and motivation. Motivation is wavering. Like today I could be motivated to work out, tomorrow not so much. Today I could be motivated to wake up early, tomorrow not so much. But when you're driven, you understand that even if I'm tired, I don't feel like it, I'm not in the right mood, it's cold outside, I have to do whatever that thing is, because I realize that that's essential to me becoming who I need to be and accomplishing my goal. Like for instance, I'm not bragging, I'm just using it for instance, because my life is the life I know best. So that's the example I'm going to use. Today I didn't get my workout in the morning that I usually complete as part of my morning routine, just because my schedule was very compact and I just had to get out of bed and start rolling. Mind you, I woke up late this morning, later than I wanted to, so that also started the snowball effect of me not being able to get done what I need done. But when I came home after, participating in the social events with my family and stuff like that, I just really didn't feel like working out. I really didn't feel like doing much. If anything, I kind of felt like just getting in bed and going to sleep. But instead of doing that, I've already decided in my mind that working out has to be a part of my day. That's just what I've accepted as a part of my life. Like, I have made working out a necessity. It is something that I must do each and every day. So if I don't get it in the morning time, I'm gonna get it at night. But I'm not gonna just not do it, throughout my day. So regardless of how I felt, I just went downstairs and I completed a circuit. I worked out because that's what I have set in my mind to do every single day. And at first when you feel like you don't want to do something, it's hard to get started. But then once you get started, it becomes easier. And once I was working out and once I was in the flow of things, my brain kind of just took over and I was just doing it. I was just doing it. I was just going. And at the end of working out, I kind of felt like I wanted to throw up, honestly, during the process. But at the end of it, I felt good. I drank some tea, I drank some water, a lot of water, and I felt good. I felt like the way I like and need to be feeling towards the end of the day, especially when I'm, working to kind of calm down and go to sleep. So again, it doesn't matter how you feel, regardless of how you feel, there are things that you need to decide in your life that you will do each and every day in order to get towards your goal. And just for me, that's a brief example of one of the things that I've decided I need to do. When we have a solid foundation, we remain true to ourselves regardless of the storm. Again, I've talked about this in several other podcasts. If you have a solid foundation, that foundation being your ethics, your morals, your principles, the things that you decide like you will and will not stand for in your life, then regardless of whatever situation you're going through, it shouldn't be hard for you because you've already decided, this is what I will or will not stand for in my life. So when you're going through those situations, you fall back to that foundation to pull you through. Like in the situation that I gave earlier, I have decided that it's unacceptable for me to go a day without working out unless it's a rest day, unless I scheduled in a rest day ahead of time. I've already set in my mind that, hey, you're not gonna just decide you don't want to work out and then be like, oh, today's gonna be a rest day. No, that's not acceptable. I have to decide that my rest day is gonna be ahead of the day that I'm, currently feeling yucky or whatever. It has to be scheduled. So since I have set that expectation, when I experience days like today, when I'm not feeling like doing it, when I'm feeling sleepy, I'm feeling lazy, it's hard for me to make the choice to work out, but it's not difficult. It's just another hump in the road. It's just me getting over my feelings and beating out my mind and knowing that I have to do what I need to do. Because it all starts with the mind. I've done a podcast on that as well. Everything starts in the mind because your thoughts lead to feelings, which turn to actions, which then lead to results. So if you could change the way you think, then your feelings and your actions and your results will ultimately change, helping you to become the person you need to be and help you to reach the goals that you have set for your life. Calm seas never made skilled sailors. We shouldn't wish for an easier journey. Instead, we should wish to become stronger. We're not going to have an easy life. Nobody's had an easy life. You're not going to go through life not experiencing pain. You're not going to go through life and not experience hardship. There's always going to be some level of stress. There's always going to be some level of hardship. You're going to be up on mountaintops at one point in your life, and then you're going to be down in the valleys at another. It's just the way that life is. As good of a person as you are, as great as you try to lead your life and the path you try to walk, like not hurting other people and not doing wrong by other people, it doesn't matter. You're going to experience hardship. And when you experience that hardship, again, it starts with your thought process. And just remind yourself, hey, calm seas never made skilled sailors. Calm seas never made skilled sailors. The way to become better is by going through things and growing through things. So that's just another mantra that you can put in the back of your head, and you can just repeat to yourself. It can be a part of your foundation just to help you get through something, to remind yourself that, hey, going through this pain, going through this hardship, going through this struggle, or getting over this obstacle is not for nothing. I'm going to grow because of this. I'm going to become better because of this. I just got to get through it, regardless how I feel and regardless how it looks. I just got to get through this obstacle. Pain is temporary. Quitting is forever. Train your mind and the body will follow. I'm sure we've been in a situation where we felt pain, whether it was physical, emotional, mental, and you just wanted to stop because that's the body's natural reaction. When your body feels pain, your body just wants to distance itself from whatever is causing that pain because it just wants it to stop. But I'm here to tell you that when you feel that pain, you need to push through it, because pain is temporary, quitting lasts forever. Because if you're working out and you quit every time you felt pain, and again, I mean healthy pain, not like if you really hurt yourself, you need to stop if you feel pain in reference to hurting yourself. But I'm talking about growth. Like if you feel pain in reference to like straining your muscles and building them back up and stuff like that, if you felt pain and then you stopped, how do you expect to get stronger? How do you expect to get results? The reason you get stronger is because your muscles are tearing down and then rebuilding themselves back stronger, so that the next time you come back, that weight will be lighter, and then you go to a heavier weight, the process starts all over again, and then you just keep going until you build more weight. Life is the same way. You go through struggles, you go through hardships, you go through difficult times. It breaks you down, but then you get to those hardships, you get to those difficult times, and you come back on the other side a stronger person. So the next time you come to that same obstacle or a different obstacle, you'll be ready for it, or you'll be more enabled to handle it. And if it's tougher or harder than it was the time before, it'll tear you down. But then there's a build up process on the other side of it. We just have to put in our minds that perspective, that it's not always going to be tear down, tear down, tear down, tear down. There's a build up period as well. This is the principle of polarity. As it swings one way, it'll swing the other way. The principle of rhythm as well. So we just got to keep those things in our mind. Stop focusing on doom and gloom and put things in a realistic perspective. If it's hard, then give it your hardest try. If something is hard, then try your hardest. I mean, if you're there, you are in that situation largely because of the decisions that you've made. This isn't always the case, but in most cases, you're in the situation you're in largely because of the decisions that you've made. So, considering that, if what you're experiencing is hard, is difficult, then give it your hardest try. Give it your best effort. Because I promise you, if you don't give it 100%, or you slack a little bit and then you fail because you slacked a little bit, or you just didn't give it enough effort, you're going to regret that you didn't try your hardest. And in life, sometimes we only get one shot at things, or things might only come by, once in a lifetime. So we need to be ready at all times to be able to take those opportunities when they arise, because, we're not promised tomorrow. Opportunities are here today and gone tomorrow. So if you're not ready to give your all, give your 100, if you're feeling sad or unmotivated the day that your blessing or opportunity may come by, then you may have missed your opportunity to bridge the gaps between where you are now and the goals that you want to achieve, your objectives and your missions. Dreams die in the comfort zone. Being comfortable is one of the easiest ways for dreams to die. You get a job, you make a good salary, you're making great benefits. Why should I open my own business? Why should I risk it? Because I got everything I need right now. My family's good. I can put the kids in a good school. They're covered by medical benefits. Why risk it? Why risk it? Because you don't know what's on the other side. It's your dream for a reason. You've been born with this dream. You've been inspired or motivated or driven to accomplish this. It's been put inside of you for you to do. It might not be anybody else's mission on this earth but yours. It might be your sole purpose for being created. So by not moving forward out of your comfort zone and striving towards this goal, this dream, you might be cheating the world out of a very valuable service or something that it needs. So being in your comfort zone doesn't serve nobody. It doesn't serve you or anybody. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve your family, the people around you. The only way that we're going to be able to live this life to the fullest potential and being experienced the best person that we can be is by exiting our comfort zone. And yes, it's going to be scary, but the way that you get out of the cage and step into the wilderness is by taking one step at a time. Yes, it's going to be scary, but you'll figure it out along the way. And sometimes you'll get a guide to help you out. Sometimes you won't. But you can't be afraid to take that step. You can't be afraid to leave your comfort zone. You have to do it regardless of the fear, regardless of the danger. Just calculate along the way, take calculated risks, maneuver how you need to, hold what you got, stay in place, recalculate, adapt, overcome, and achieve, and just keep on pushing, keep on moving until you get towards your goal. And then when you get towards your goal, you're not finished. You got to do the same thing, adapt, overcome, and achieve, evaluate where you are and where you need to be, make new goals. Life is a journey, it's not a destination. So even when you get to another stopping point or you feel it's a stopping point, there's room for growth. There's something more that you need to do, regardless of how you feel. Even if you feel good feelings like success, like happiness and joy and being elated, there's still more that you need to do. I'm not saying don't take time and appreciate where you are, what you've earned, what you have, but there's still more that you need to do. Celebrate and then snap back into reality. When you feel like quitting, when you're feeling demotivated or not driven, remember your why. Remember who is depending on you and remember who may be watching you. Again, this isn't all about you. A lot of us like to be selfish and think, oh, woe is me, it's such a hardship, or it's so difficult, or it's so hard, why does my life have to be this way? But we need to think there might be somebody that's watching us, that wants us to succeed, that sees our life and our life is the motivation to them for them to do better. Like we don't know who's going to benefit from our story, who's going to see our journey, and they're going to be able to be a better person because of watching us, because of the example we set. Like we don't know whose life we may affect positively, or we don't know what industry we may affect positively, or how we might impact the world just by pushing through and doing things that we need to do and things that need to be done. It's all about perspective. It starts in the mind and then the body will follow. Regardless of how we feel, we need to be pushing through the objective. We need to be pushing through the obstacle, to accomplish our objectives and to overall satisfy our goals and our desires. We only get one time to live this life. One time. And in that life, it's not about finishing a race, because the end of the race is, we perish from this existence. We need to be focused on the journey, our mindset with the journey, and how we're going to get through the hard times and the difficult times by developing ourselves to be the best we can possibly be.